Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got another really exciting installment of Chatting Charts with Jules Verne. Today we're going to be talking specifically about faction reputation, about faction credits, how you can grind that much better, and obviously how you can plan forward your progression with your reputation, whether you decide to go dual rep, whether you decide to go sole reputation. This tool is going to massively help you. In order to access all these charts, they are on our Discord on the STFC Officer tool. A link to the Discord will be in the description of the video. And also I will put a quick thumbnail at the top of the screen now, and that will show you the video where we explain how to navigate and how to use the actual charts section of our Discord. So first of all, welcome Jules. How are you this fine day?
Doing fantastic, Lou. How are you?
Oh, I'm very well, thank you. All the better for speaking to you. What are we going to be talking about today?
Today is going to be all about faction stuff. So, your reputation, your requirements that you need to do for that reputation, how to grow reputation, how to grind reputation, and what you can spend your reputation and credits on, aka your faction ships.
Amazing. Right,
So,
let's kick into it, I think.
let's get started. So, we're starting here at the charts index on the FCSC Officer Show Tool discard. And you're going to click on the chart here to get to your faction daily requirements and rewards. Now, this particular chart will be copied into a forced link because it's going to be very variable based on your specific requirements. So we want you to have this for yourself and not have to deal with anybody else's numbers. So let's pop in here to your faction dailies. What we're looking at first is what syndicate level and what prime spend daily you are, because those are going to affect your reputation and the credits that you gain at your particular current rep level. So let's pretend that we are currently respected to 10 million rep. This is going to tell you what your hostiles are going to be, what level and what number you need to do, how much you need to mine in order to finish your finish your dailies for that particular rep, for that particular faction, and what your spend daily requirements are, and then all of the rewards that you'll get from that. You can even see a 30-day total of what you would actually be able to get. So in about a month, at syndicate level 20 to 24, without buying the prime spend daily, you'll probably get about 16,000 credits per month, which is great to kind of understand and know that so you can budget for the future.
So I think it'd be really good at this point just to mention that we're going to be mentioning a few primes throughout this video. Obviously, primes being generally that you are going to spend, that you're going to buy for if you're wanting to expedite this process. And what Jules has done very cunningly is highlighted it on the sheet at the moment on screen. These are the locations with the relevant actual trees that they are in. So the prime Klingon tribute you can see is in Galaxy. It is in row 1 of column 19. So you can use that to be able to find any primes that we talk about rather than just going into the trees and showing you every single prime as they come up. I think that makes the best sense, doesn't it, Jules, for people to find that on their own.
Yes, and there's many primes, and of course your Vidar Talios has its own charts associated with what the rewards are. So we're not going to dive too deeply into where those are located, but just kind of showing you where the sources are and how to manipulate them on this particular chart. So going down
Excellent.
to your other daily sources, like we've talked about the Prime Klingon tribute. What's nifty about the Prime Klingon tribute and the other faction tributes is that it does not have any negative reputation associated with it. So it's a good way of boosting one without having to diminish the others. Whereas with the Borg reputation bundles, they actually do have negative reputations associated with them. Another couple of sources in here that do not require extra investment is your weekly allegiance tokens. You get you get to pull this once a week, and it's based on your ops range and your ability to complete that particular daily. Also, the ATA store, you could spend credits and buy bundles. This is based on your reputation. So, depending on what your reputation is, you'll be able to buy some more rep. But as we can see, the reputation that you'll get from this one ATA pales in comparison to what you're actually going to be getting from just finishing your dailies alone. So it could be a nice boost, but it's not going to be a primary source. And of course, there is completing your faction messages bundle every single day, which requires gathering 180 every day. So that can be a little bit of a challenge to some people. So you may want to click no on that if you're not the one who's going to go out and hunt those particular scouts. So this can tell you pretty much with all of your other sources that you're going to be doing, what your total of your dailies is going to be for the day, including adding up all of the credits you could possibly get and showing you, hey, in 30 days, I'm not just going to earn the 16,000 from our finishing just the regular dailies, I'm actually going to earn more like almost 40,000 of credits per month. So
which is massive.
let's take a look at that. And let's say, well, I don't want to just look at what respected is. I want to see what it's going to take for me to get to glorified at 440 million, because I am planning on building a G4 rare. Loop, what is your favorite G4 rare?
My favorite G4 rare is always going to be the Pylum. It was the one that I lusted after from being in the 30s. It was what everybody talked about. It was what I wanted.
For sure. So that's going to be your Romulan faction here. That's going to be your Romulan faction ship. So let's take a look at some different strategies. You know, we've all had the same question. How long is it going to take me to get from my first lock, which is respected at 10 million, to unlocking my faction ship? And maybe that's going to help me understand how long it's going to take me to progress through my ops, or how long I should be, or how fast I should be progressing through my ops to get there. So we have built this calculator in order to kind of help you just based on daily claims. And I'm using the other sources as well, including the prime attributes, in case you have those. Let's pretend you don't. Let's pretend that you're not pulling your reputation bundles from your Borg refinery. And you have a Vidar Talios, so you're going to be pulling some of those credits. Just finishing your dailies, it's going to take you, if you were going to solo with Romulan, 238 days. So about 3/4 of a year in order to get from respected to glorified. That's not too bad. What's the difference between that and dual grinding? Well, let's take a look at it. The Klingon Federation. I've set these up to dual grind with each other, and that's going to take about 429 days. So that's going to take a little bit longer. That may be too long for you. You may progress way farther past Ops 46 and not be able to build your Ops 46 ships if you think that you're going to get to Ops 46 prior to getting to glorified by dual grinding alone.
I think it'd make sense potentially to the ship that you really want at 46, maybe soul grind that, and then obviously when you come back to do the other two, then maybe come back and duel those two up, maybe as a tactic for everybody, because then you've got your 46 ship, you can be working on that, and obviously then you can slower roll potentially the other two.
There's other things you can do too to speed this up. You can also, obviously purchase the Prime FKR Tribute. Let's say we're just going to bring both of these to level 2. You could purchase the Prime Spend Daily, which is going to give you a little bit more faction reputation and credits. And what we can see is if we dual grind, we now can do that in about the same amount of time with a little bit of investment than we could have if we soloed without that investment. So maybe to you, if it's worth it to purchase these primes and in order to speed this up, there is ways to do that. And just for funsies, I want to show you what triple looks like, because triple with buying some FKR tributes isn't so bad, except for the one that you don't balance out.
Wow. Wow.
So
It's only 3 years. It's only 3 years.
Yeah, if I get rid of the prime, FKR tributes, let this balance out. So here's the problem. If you do not find a way of injecting positive rep without eliminating the negative rep, it's actually impossible to triple rep gain. So you need to find a way of gathering positive rep without negative rep. That's where the prime tributes can actually make a difference to your game by allowing you to just even the possibility, let this balance out, a possibility of triple. But you can see
Still
here, even with
that still looks horrendous.
even with just one, that's just horrendous. So don't triple, never triple, not a thing. Just don't do it. And you can also see on this chart, I have broken down Klingon Federation, Romulan, kind of showing you exactly how many credits you actually gain on your path to get there. So one of the problems with solo is if you get there too fast, you're actually not going to gain a ton of faction credits. So mapping it out so that you are gaining maximum amount of faction credits per day on your way to unlocking that ship may be better than just solo. Because what a lot of people do is they'll solo all the way up to their next lock at 1 billion. And what they'll find is they'll actually get less faction credits if they solo each leg versus trying to dual grind, because they'll spend more time in that faction gaining those credits, and you'll get actually more credits even if it takes you a little bit more time than if you try to solo and then go to the next faction. So that I am a big proponent of dual grinding wherever possible. And again, there's the research locations here for some of those primes, in case you didn't know where you're at with that. Now, let's just talk about, let's just say, hey, 285 is too long. I'm going to be there, let's say 200 days from now, based on my personal spending habits and my ops progression path. I think I'm going to be there in 200 days. I want to amplify my progress faster. Best way of doing that is grinding hostels. So here is an example of, let's say we're grinding in Seoul and we're building up our Klingon and Romulan reputation. We're hitting heavy traders or regular traders, and we want to maximize our reputation here. Reputation gain loss from our hostels. So this is the base reputation that I pulled from in-game. You can see this by looking at the loot of the actual hostel in-game. They'll actually have that if you scan the hostel. And you input your base rep gain from the hostel here. And here is the calculated buffs based on all the various factors. We got research. You've got, if you have a G4 ship, it has a loot bonus that will be applicable. So tier 5 G4 ship can help boost your rep. You have officers, 5 of 11, the doctor below decks, Galliner, and then he has to be on the bridge, and Harry Kim also has to be on the bridge. And then you also have exos, both positive and negative exos that you can apply. One of the problems that we see with dual grinding, though, is one of the factions is going to be heavier weighted as far as reputation gain. So in order to balance the reputation gain, what you need to do is take a look at your secondary faction and boost that as much as possible. But you can't boost both. So using, for instance, 511 on the deck, you'll actually boost both equally, and that's not going to be good if you're trying to balance them out. So by using specific faction reputation gains, including research, FKR devotion, this requires using a particular faction ship, so using a Klingon faction ship, or FKR notoriety, which just boosts the reputation gain from Klingons, or using the Fleet Commander Kirk skills here and selecting the one for the Klingon. You can only select one of these at a time, so why not select the one that you want to balance out? And of course, using exos, which you can get from the Amalgam Recruit chest. So using a G3 uncommon, and at these various research levels, we can see that we've actually boosted our Klingon enough that these are about the same reputation gain. So this is how you can calculate to see how many reputation gain loss am I getting from these hostels. How can I balance this if I'm trying to dual grind and not ruin one reputation with the other? Or for instance, if I want to really boost up one reputation, where are my possible sources? Any questions about that so far, Lube?
No, nothing from it. I think the thing with it all is that you've got to take the time, haven't you, to sit down and actually analyze what it is that you want to do. Decide whether you want to go dual. Decide whether you're going to go single. There's no right or wrong way. Obviously, the speed of your progression, the level of your spend, also is going to play a significant part to this. Whether you buy the primes, whether you're going to buy yourself up ops very very quickly, or whether you're just going to slow play it. But I think the main thing behind all of this part, and especially this sheet in particular, is make sure it's accurate, make sure it's up to date, and see what researches you need to be focusing on to be able to achieve your goals fastest and the most efficiently, because speed isn't everything. Efficiency is going to be a part of it.
Absolutely. And here's the current equation for rep gain. It is not simple. So it's not as simple as just adding whatever base percentage you have. There's some weirdness that goes on with Galinor and Kim that can really help boost your reputation in there. So just want to point that out. Lastly, on this particular sheet, we also have faction messages exchange by reputation. As you can see, the efficiency goes down. So it's going to get more expensive based on getting the number of messages you need for the amount of credits that you'll gain. Lastly, what is all of this for? Like, let's go back here and say, hey, we got 285 days if we dual grind or if we have these particular variables. How fast is it going to take me to get to glorified? It's going to take me 162 days. Great. Now let's go see how long it's going to take you to get to your favorite ship, Lube, to the pylum.
Ooh.
This is a separate sheet. So on Discord, if you pop over to our charts index and you look for faction ship BP calculator, it'll be here. Again, this will be a force copy because there's going to be a lot of variables on here that are going to be specific to your account. Let's take a look at what we're looking at here. So we're going to try to get a pylum. Now, currently we are Ops 42. We have 0 BPs. Our faction reputation is currently respected. We know that's going to go up, but we're going to use this as for our calculator today. We still have a Vidar Talios around tier 4. Oh, this is Vidar tier 4. No, we went the Talios tier 4. Yeah, that's going to give us a lot more credits. There we go. We have invested in the Prime Borg rewards, so we've got that turned on. So this will tell you the income that you're going to get based on your faction credits. You also have another source, your ATA store. Your ATA store BPs. This will unlock for the pylum at Ops 44 and Reputation 275 million. So you won't be able to collect these right away, but once you get to 44, you start being able to collect those. And just looking at what is the best distribution for gathering this material. Well, we know it's going to take about 500,000 faction credits to fully buy your pylum. You're not going to be able to gain that in the 100 some odd days it's going to take you to get to glorified, even with all of these various incomes. So what we were trying to do is figure out a way of balancing that with a maybe ATA store credits. If you can possibly get it through rare or epic chests, which you cannot with the G4 ships,
No.
except for the jelly, you could balance those out as well. But just balancing just the ATA store credits and your faction credits, you can get this in the best possible time of 116 days. So you can use this to kind of play with some different variables in here. Let's say you already have 100,000 faction credits in. Okay, well, great. Now we can only need to build up another 276,000. That's going to be about 100 days for us, for my particular account. Other sources, there is hostile drops for certain systems. I don't have the full list of which systems can drop which BPs. And there's also event stores for a lot of these faction ships. You can purchase some extra BPs in there, usually around 10% for the G4 ships of the actual total BPs you could get. So yeah, this is a quick calculator to figure out when you'll get your faction. Again, this will be variable because you'll probably pick up some more credits somewhere else. Maybe you'll pick those up in the G4 or G5, or sorry, the G4 rare or epic chests. If you're pulling those, you maybe get some extra credits there. Maybe through events, you'll get some extra credits. So this is kind of just a rough estimate of when you think you'll be able to get this during doing your normal activities.
Outstanding. I mean, there's so many times people say, I'm so far away from getting a pylon. I'm so far away from getting a Valdo.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we hear that all the time. I'm never going to get there. We've all said it. We've all said, I never thought that I would have a pylon ever. And I've probably had mine for over a year now. These things happen, they do come. But obviously, being able to actually see a path, it gives you a bit of renewed focus. And it helps you to think, right, I've got an hour in the game. What shall I go do? Right, I'll go and grind some faction messages. I'll go and do that to try and knock a couple of days off my
Absolutely.
grind towards my next ship. It gives you some additional focus in the game. Now, this is very analytical, and I think it's absolutely superb, obviously, what Jules has been able to come up with there. I will say a massive, massive thank you. Remember, guys, that obviously all of these charts and spreadsheets are accessible through our Discord. Link will be down in the description below for that. And we are also currently seeking some information. We have created a new channel called the Data Collection Channel, and Jules and Blue are asking for some information. This message at the top is pinned. The pinned message will be updated regularly by Jules to say what information that they are currently requesting. For example, tier 10 Mantis refinery bundles. I saw that somebody actually put some of those refinery bundles into that channel today. So if you can help us out with any of that to help complete any of these charts, that would be absolutely superb. Remember, guys, before you go, please press the subscribe button so you know that when these new contents are coming out in the chatting chart series, or obviously for any of the other videos that we put out for anything else, it really, really helps the channel. Leave a comment below, press like on the way out, and if you need anything at all relating to charts, Jules is always available to be able to take private messages. Ask questions in the Discord if you absolutely need to. But on that note, I will say thank you again to you, Jules, and remember, guys, everything is better with lube. Take care, guys.